First of all, Coach, congratulations on receiving this honor, being one of the newest members of the Black College Hall of Fame. What was your initial reaction when you got the word you will be inducted in the summer?
My initial reaction was an attitude of gratitude for all the people that have been a part of my entire life from the time I was a tot until becoming a senior citizen. I really can't say thank you enough for all the people that have made a unique contribution to this man called Willard Bailey. My attitude was also one of humility. I was completely humble and certainly grateful for the time I went out for football at age 15 in Suffolk High School. And believe it or not, I made the team. And so from that day, and I've always been a part of the game called football. And of course, to growing in the game, studying the game as a student, then as a coach, you're always looking for those people that do it the right way. The men that have coached black college football are a unique group. They are really a special group because these are the men that had to do so many other things on the campus while coaching. And they put programs together that you couldn't believe. If you look hard into all of those gentlemen that have become, it's 11 gentlemen that before me became inductees into the Black College Football Hall of Fame. If you would look at those gentlemen and their careers and study their careers are very much like mine. These guys had a lot of things from marking the field to washing the football equipment to matching the shoes. They did everything a manager would do, an athletic director would do, a trainer would do. They did all of those jobs, plus many of them taught. Coach Harris, Tom Harris, who brought me onto this campus as one of his assistant coaches for 7 years, he did everything. He was what you call at that time coach. And when you had the title coach on a small, historically black college, you were the coach. There was no basketball, baseball, soccer, tennis coach. The coach was the coach. He coached everything. In fact, the reason I came to this school was by invitation to come and teach health and physical education to take some of the pressure off Coach Tom Harris, who was doing everything. But that was the job of the coach. So when I look at those men and those achievements they have made ahead of my achievements, I have to marvel, be humble, and so grateful to join this group of men I have been admiring for more than 65 years, to finally join the fraternity of Eddie Robinson, Marino Castle, Bill Hayes, Joe Taylor, and so Willard Jeffries. All of those men I've always looked up to, and I've always wanted to be a part of a lot of fraternities. Yes, Alpha Phi Alpha is number one. That's me. but after Alpha, the the fraternity of the historically black college Hall of Fame goes much further throughout the world, because football at this time is still the number one sport in the history of the United States of America. So how did I feel? Humble, grateful, and thankful for so many of my quality ball players. Great assistant coaches like Joe Taylor right here. Joe Taylor, we had a great program going on at Virginia Union. And would you believe it, we won 113 games in 10 years. We never had a losing season. But when Joe Taylor came, we improved. So you know what an impact Taylor made on our program.
And that shows you have a pretty good eye for talent. When you see Joe Taylor, then,
But,
like
be,
you said,
but,
you
but,
improved.
but the reason Joe said he made the decision to come here rather than going to Hampton or someplace else, I made another great decision by asking Jesse Chavis to come in and be my defensive coordinator. Jesse Chavis had just come from Denver. He was making the team at Denver, got hurt, had to lay it aside for a while, but Denver's loss was my gain. There would have been no reason, no way I could have achieved what I achieved on the football field while always teaching 3 classes. See, whether it was football season or the spring semester, Willard Bailey taught at least 3 classes because I came here as an instructor of health and physical education. But hiring Jesse Chavis to come in from Denver to be my defensive coordinator, he played 4 years for Coach Tom Harris. But when he came, he had one unique thing about him. Nobody could score on his defense. When teams cannot score, you can win a lot of games. Joe says that's the only reason he decided to come to Union to be my offensive coordinator, because Taylor said nobody could score on us.
And that was some pretty good wars at practice.
Huh?
You had some pretty good wars at practice with Chavis's defense
Oh, Lord.
against Taylor's offense.
And I'm not just talking about CIAA teams. Tennessee State couldn't score on us. South Carolina State couldn't score. North Dakota State couldn't score. We had so many teams. I'm talking about scoring 20, 25, 30 points and up. They might have gotten 1 or 2 touchdowns, but they always had problems scoring against Jesse Chavis' defense. I have been blessed, so why shouldn't I be humble? Okay.
Do you remember your first college game that you coached?
The first college game? First college game was Maryland State College at the time, in Princess Anne, Maryland. We had our first conference game in Princess Anne. Coach, I'll think of his name, the coach over there at the time, but he had great talent. That's where Art Shell had played, Taylor, Emerson Boozer, so many of those great football players. We went over to Eastern Shore, and they scored, but they scored 7 points. We scored 7. So my first game was a tied ball game against the great Maryland State football program. They really had a football program. That's when I got a little confidence. We went over Skip McCain's team, and we came off 7-7. That was our first game, and that was when I knew I didn't know exactly what we had going on, but I knew we did have some things going on. That was a blessing, and it did give us confidence that we could win because, again, they struggled with the ball. We struggled against our great defense, but We came out all right. It was really a a good uh, victory for our confidence. Okay. Yeah.
You had great success at Norfolk State, here at Virginia Union, also at St. Paul's, and also at your last stop, Virginia University of Lynchburg. And I got the sense covering you when you were at Union at St. Paul's.
Did you?
I did. All of your teams had that one trait. You know, it seemed like they had a common theme, a common thread. Can you explain, I guess, the common theme that each of those teams had at your stops that made them successful?
That made it possible for us to be successful? Well, one of the things I've always believed in, don't allow teams to prepare to stop your strongest suit. Your strongest suit is keeping the ball in the most talented players' hands on your team. And that's common with all sports. If you're playing basketball or baseball, you've got to have a strong battery of between the playmaker in basketball and the center. In baseball, you got to have a strong battery between the pitcher and the catcher. In football, the most talented player on most college teams is the quarterback. The quarterback is the one that makes it go. From Pop Warner football to the National Football League. If you notice, the teams in the Super Bowl coming up this weekend, the number one talent on each of their teams, everybody from the trainer, the managers, the ball girls, the water boys, everybody on the team, the players, know that the quarterback is the key to them winning the Super Bowl or winning, getting in the playoffs each year. So they protect the quarterback. They want the quarterback to know they're going to work hard for him. So what I've tried always to do is to have a quarterback that I had faith in. So I had faith in all my ball players, but the quarterback is a person that I can trust. I respect my quarterback as Coach Harris did, as a gentleman named Overbeard, Booker T. Washington High School in Suffolk, as my high school coach. They had as much for the respect for the quarterback as they did for the president or the principal of the school, because the quarterback is the one you got to look at with your bloodshot eyes into his eyes, and you will know whether or not he's digesting your system of football. If you can sell your quarterback and get him to have the same type of confidence that we had when we left Maryland State on my first football game, if your quarterback believes in your system, you're going to win. You see? So what I've tried to do on offense is to be sure we protected the number one player, the quarterback. I think you protect your quarterback best by not allowing defenses to converge on your quarterback every game. They've got to know that anybody in your backfield could have the football. The teams that are in the Super Bowl, especially Kansas City, they make great use of misdirection. Misdirection, as Joe Taylor can tell you, has been the key to my game of football. If I could get the players to believe in their contribution to that system, we're going to win 7 games a year. With basic good talent, we're going to win at least 7 games, because you cannot concentrate on my quarterback. You better be worried about the Judge Thomases, the Larry Roberts, and Gibsons, all those guys I've had in the backfield. You have to worry about all of them. You have to concentrate to see what each one of them are doing, so you couldn't zero in on any person. That means we can use misdirection, play action passes, and we're going to win. Sometimes we don't have to get involved. We're wasting a lot of time trying to get your quarterback to be able to read all the defenses. The quarterbacks in the National Football League has problems sometimes reading the secondary. They make mistakes and they throw interceptions because they made a mistake. If you can get your quarterbacks to make the most effective read after the ball is snapped, that's the key read. Because of misdirection, 9 times out of 10, I want my quarterback to be either run the ball or pass it, or have some other misdirection coming off of that. That means you can't concentrate on exactly what he's going to do every time. So that has been a part of our system of football on offense. We also want to be able to crank it up and run the ball against you. We come into the stadium to run the football. Would you believe I'm the only coach in the history of the CIAA to play an entire football game against one of our rivals? When I was at St. Paul's College, you know, we went over to Virginia State. We played Virginia State, and I had a running back, a great talent, but he couldn't remember any plays. He couldn't remember no play, but he could remember one play. So the coaches didn't want to play him because he couldn't remember his plays. But he was my best player running the ball. So I said, well, look, what we're going to do, you say he can remember one play? They said, yeah. I said, okay, we're going to run that one play that he can remember. We're going to run it right, and we're going to run it left. The same play, right, left. So I talked to him. I said, can you remember this and that? Oh, yeah, Coach, I got that. I said, you sure you can run that one? Coach, I can run one play. I said, great. We're going to run 24 right, 24 left, 24 power right, 24 power left. You know, we played Virginia State College, and I wasn't aware of what I was doing that night. The only thing I wanted black to do, black run right, black run left. Hey, we won the football game from St. Paul's against Virginia State, 19-6. And you know, we didn't throw one pass.
I think I remember that game.
We did not throw one pass the whole game.
I think I was in the booth.
There's never been a game. We're the only team that's ever done that. Play the whole game and don't throw one pass.